Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good night. It's Jules, and I'm back for another Sunday video. This week's video is kind of showing you guys how I plan out my schedule for the week. It wasn't really until the past several months that I actually had things that I had to add on to a schedule that was enough for me to actually have a moment, that was my computer, to actually have a moment where I thought, oh my gosh, I have a lot of crap going on. I should probably actively organize these things. I just use a simple spiral notebook. You can use a legal pad, a journal, whatever you want. I'm all about simplicity. You don't have to buy a $20 planner that you're going to throw away at the end of the year anyway. First step on the scheduling exercise is you want to separate this paper into about maybe 6 or 7 little squares. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. So what you're actually going to get is about 8 little squares. I'll hold this really close, where I wrote each day of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way back to another Sunday. The first thing you're going to do is write in each quadrant your work schedule. We're going to write the work schedule in first. I'm going to go ahead and just make up a schedule so that I can have an example for this video. Now that you've gone ahead and you've written in your work schedule for the week into each square, including days that you do not work and you're actually off, the next step you're gonna do is, if you have a spouse or significant other that you live with whose work schedule is important to your schedule because it kind of affects your schedule. Maybe you drive them to work, or maybe there's something you can't do until they get home. You're gonna actually, on that second line under your schedule, you're going to write in their schedule. The next thing you're going to write on this list are things that have to be scheduled that are your hobbies, practices, things that your kids have to do during the week. Maybe they have soccer practice, maybe things that you have to do during the week, or your significant other. Maybe you have Zumba at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays. Maybe your daughter has piano practice at 7:30 on Wednesdays. Maybe your significant other has, I don't know, fantasy football at 4 o'clock. And write that on the third line or the second line. So you want your schedule, your significant other's schedule, if you have a significant other, and then those activities that also have a schedule, but they're not necessarily work. So I put boxing and you want to put the times that you have to do it. Boxing at 8 to 9, track from 6 to 7. So you want to go ahead and fill those in on each day. The next thing you want to write on that third or fourth line is going to be other stuff that you have scheduled. Important things like any doctor's appointments that you have scheduled for the week, maybe you get your nails done. You want to go ahead and write that on there. Things that you have to schedule at specific times. I just put on a random day, hair appointment at 3. I don't even know if you guys can read these if they're backwards on the video. Anyway, let's continue. And then I put a massage at 2 p.m. on this random Saturday. The next thing that you're going to go back and write on this list, you're gonna write household things that you have to do, or just tasks in general that you really don't have to do them on a specific day, but you do have to get them done this week, or you've been putting them off and you need to get them done. Those specific tasks are things like going to the grocery store, to go grocery shopping for the week. If you have a house, raking, or it's summer, so why would you be raking? You want to go back and write those things in. Be mindful in each square, you don't want to exceed more than 3 to 4 things per square. Keep that in mind as you're writing those things in, and I'll explain that eventually in this video. So hopefully you guys will stay tuned. For the sake of this video, I have laundry on this day, mop floors on this day, and clean bathrooms on this day. Okay, next step. The next thing you want to do is, again, you're going to schedule those physical self-care things that you do. Like, I know I haven't had a deep condition since the wheel was invented, so I probably need to go ahead and write that on my list for this week. And those self-care things that you do for yourself that, again, don't necessarily have to be done at a specific time, but they need to get done this week. So, like, for example, me, I know that my deep conditioning needs to be done. That whole process from start to finish to wash my hair, because I do it in the shower, takes about, an hour, 30 minutes-ish to do all the process that I do to my hair, because it's natural. So I know, again, I need to do it on a day where I don't have more than 3 to 4 things scheduled in one of these boxes. Again, that's coming up in a moment. Self-care things that you do for your physical being, you want to go ahead and write those in now. So let's do that. I wrote in deep condition hair. So yours might be clipping your nails, painting your nails, trimming your hair, whatever you have, you want to go ahead and write those things in now. The reason that I say no more than 3 to 4 things per square is because we are human, and we live in a culture where you're supposed to overbook yourself, and then we brag about how busy we are. It annoys me to no end when I ask somebody how they're doing and the first thing they tell me is, I'm so busy, and then they list off all the millions of activities they have to do during the day. It's like, I'm not impressed by the fact that you are choosing on your own to burn yourself out. Now, if you have a job where you have to be available 24/7, maybe you're a first responder, police officer, EMT, a doctor, you work on an oil rig, things like that, where you are literally busy all the time. I'm not talking to you, so please don't get offended by this video. This is for average everyday people who self-inflict busyness and burnout on themselves. Self-inflicted busyness is when your job isn't requiring you to be ripping and running 24/7. You are requiring yourself to be ripping and running 24/7. Do you really need to sign your child up for 15 different activities per week? Do you really need to sign up for every single class that your church or your gym offers? Do you really need to volunteer for every organization and every event that pops up on your Facebook newsfeed or that you're invited to? Do you really have to date every single person that asks for your number or asks for your time? No, the answer is no. I have a rule for my kids. They get one activity per year. One activity per year. And if they cannot be entertained and energized by that one said activity, I guess it sucks to be you. So we're not doing piano and karate and dance class. You get one activity where that activity is held at your school, or if it's held through the city or your local group or organization, you get one, because I am not turning myself into a crazy person trying to run from this side of town to that side of town by 6 o'clock so that you can get to your 1 million practices and recitals and games and performances. You get one, because you do realize every activity that you sign your children up for, you're ultimately partaking in that activity too. It's ultimately also going to cost you gas money and time. And the most important thing is you actually want to enjoy being around your children without constantly bringing them to someone else. Not saying you're dumping your kids off, but without actually, all the time bringing them to something while you sit and watch them do other stuff. You actually want to talk to your kids and enjoy seeing them grow up while you're sitting and not constantly in the car running from destination to destination. It's also okay for kids to be bored. I know this is controversial. You want to keep your kids busy. You want them to be tired when they come home. You want them to use their brain and to be educated and to grow up to be a millionaire from all these thousands of activities that you've signed them up for. But it's okay for kids to be bored. Out of boredom, supervised boredom, you don't want them being in a corner, lighting stuff on fire. Out of boredom, comes creativity. I spent a lot of my childhood writing stories and learning how to cook and journaling my feelings and learning, you know, who I was. And it's because of that I've written 2 books, and I'm, you know, doing various things in my life that were born out of that boredom that I don't think would have come if I was constantly every single second of every single day doing stuff. And if you have multiple kids and they're close in age, maybe have them agree on what that one activity is and have them all do the same one activity, so you're saving on gas and time and bringing them all collectively to that one activity, and you're not driving yourself insane. You want to schedule time to actually enjoy your day. I do not envy someone who doesn't even have time to go outside and just experience how beautiful the day is, whether it's raining, sunny, hot, cold, snowing, sleeting, it doesn't matter. If you don't have time to just look out your window and enjoy life, that's a problem. You don't have time to take a 20-minute power nap if your body is screaming of exhaustion, then that's a problem. Self-inflicted busyness and burnout is a problem. I want to flip the script so that it's no longer some kind of glorious badge of honor to brag about how busy you are, but that it's an honor to brag about the fact that there was a day that you had nothing scheduled, or that you were able to rest and take a 1-hour nap, or just sit and enjoy movies with your family all day. That, my friend, is honorable. Life is too short and our days are not promised to us, and if anything were to happen to me, I don't want my friends and family to remember me as the Flash or this blur that was just constantly going and going. I want them to remember me as somebody who actually enjoyed their life, and that's a habit that I want my kids to pick up as well. So I want to exercise that fact every single day. The next thing on the scheduling thing is you want to put a check mark, a check area by each thing, and I'm doing it as I'm talking. I'm not going to do all of them because it's going to take a while. So you want to put a line where you can check off when you've completed each thing. So like if you went to work today, then you're going to check that off. Kickboxing, you're gonna check that off. The reason why I say to check each thing off as you go is because you just feel a sense of accomplishment as you're checking those things off, and it'll give you that sense of urgency. It'll give you that sense of urgency to make sure you get every single thing done in that square for that day. Now, if there's ever a day for whatever reason that you don't get every single thing done in your square for that day, that's okay. Just move it to another square on a day that you can do it, or move it to the next day. Don't beat yourself up. If you got 1 to 2 things accomplished on your list, my friend, you've gotten farther than a lot of people. I'm proud of you. Hope my scheduling video helped. If you have any more questions, or if I didn't go into enough detail, please comment below. And thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate everybody for taking their time to watch my videos. It means so much to me. Follow me on Instagram at JulesLowell, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye.